All right, guys, and I have another bar story too. I tell you. This one is just one of my favorites, because I grew up, at a certain time. But let me go ahead and pause this, and I'll continue here. Okay, so yeah, one time I was bartending, and I just want you to know, I was born in 1988. Okay, October 29th, 1988 is my birthday, and so I'm 36, turning 37 this year. And when I was growing up, okay, the coolest, most awesome thing to me was Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman. Okay, Michael Jordan. They played for the Bulls. Uh, he was so magical to me. Okay, I just was completely obsessed with basketball, and particularly that trio. Okay, the fact that we had, Scottie Pippen was so amazing. He was like another Michael Jordan. And they were like the ultimate team. Okay, Michael Jordan was the star and just so awesome. I love Michael. Yeah, you guys know I love Saint Michael. Okay, just like Muslims and Catholics alike, and even Jews. We do all love and respect Saint Michael. I think, right? Anyways, big deal to me. Okay, growing up, and Dennis Rodman, of course, just so super amazing and an interesting character, just unbelievable rebounder. Okay, and Dennis Rodman made up the element of that three-part trio that just made them the ultimate team. Right? Dennis Rodman was so unbelievably good, man. I mean, he was so good, dude. Just his rebounds, just he and Scottie Pippen and whatever. They just, my goodness, they made Michael Jordan who he was, right? It was a team, right? It was so good, dude. It was so good, man. Unbelievable. And Michael took care of both of them. I mean, it was so awesome, man. So one time I did have the experience and the joy to take care of Dennis Rodman at my bar. So he came in, and I just want to say that he came in with a group of women. One of which I actually hung out with at a Starbucks after. She had a very depressing story, actually. A guy cheating on her, and her remaining just. She's a very attractive, short-haired, blonde woman, and recounting her past. But my interaction with Dennis Rodman, I just want you to know that I knew who he was when he walked in. Okay, and he was very loud. He was entertaining his friends. Okay, he was the center of attention. Normally, I was the center of attention in that bar, I suppose, many times. But Dennis Rodman absolutely, stole the light. He didn't even know who I was. He didn't even acknowledge me, by the way. But he was doing a trick, for his friends with a glass, and they were drinking Jägermeister like crazy, and serving them up and whatever. And I was washing some dishes at the sink, and he, took a glass and came over to the sink, and he poured out the glass so he could do his little trick for his friends, and he poured out the Jägermeister all over me and my foot. So, yeah, Dennis Rodman poured out a drink on me on foot. So yeah, that's true. Yeah.